I'm Paul Vallely, Major General, U.S. Army, retired. I represent the Legacy National Security Advisory Group, a member of the Patriot International Alliance, and I'm today with a very important person, great friend, Dr. Bisht from Cambridge, England. Dr. Bisht?
Thank you, Paul. Hi, I'm Dr. Bisht, and I represent an organization called Global Humanitarian Crisis Prevention and Response Unit. And we are basically based out of Cambridge, and I'm here with General Vallely on a very important matter, which is to do with the Russia and Ukraine war.
Yeah, what we're discussing is basically interjecting, or an intervention, we may call it,
Yes.
in the Russian-Ukraine conflict.
Yes.
It appears the nations involved, the United States, Russia, Ukraine, and other NATO nations like England, cannot come to any resolution to bring a ceasefire to this conflict.
No, not
and so it takes a third party, doesn't it, to do it? It appears so anyhow.
Yes, and while we are going through all this, while all this is happening in Russia and Ukraine, what people are not realizing is the enormous risk this whole situation is placing on the world.
On the world.
Now, and the role of the United States and Britain is important. It's actually fundamental to identify that it is escalating the conflict, and no one's talking about ceasefire.
Nobody.
So nobody. And instead of that, they're just fueling the situation and, prolonging the war, the consequences of the war, and so on and so forth.
Well, and I think that's what's inspired the Patriots International Organization, bringing in several nations. And what we'd like to do, our mission is to set up a scheduled meeting, a summit conference somewhere in the coming months in order to bring the parties together to the ceasefire. So many people being killed, injured, the drain of the treasuries, the billions of dollars that the United States has put into this conflict. It's got to come to an end, Dr. Bisht.
Yes, and also the environmental factor. The use of all the depleted uranium. Just think about what it's doing to the environment. It's beyond conception, in fact.
Yeah.
And I find it ridiculous, really, that none of these NATO states are actually trying for any form of dialogue between the two countries, and instead of that, they're just carrying on with.
They want to carry it on, and there does not seem to be an end game as far as, say, the United States is concerned, or Great Britain, or the other NATO nations.
Yes.
But it's got to come to an end, and it needs individuals. It needs third-party intervention at this point in time, and that's what we're doing. And so we're going to schedule a summit sometime, as I said, in the near future, and bring the parties together and come with some kind of a resolution to bring the conflict to an end.
Yes, and bring both Russia and Ukraine, talk to each other.
Well, it's a proxy war of the United States. That's what it is. And they want to have Putin step down. They want to have him replaced. Well, that's not going to happen. No, and so Putin understands that, I think. But the European countries, NATO, the United States, don't seem to want to move to any kind of resolution. And we need to do something, Dr. Bisht. There's no doubt about it.
We do. And also we need to recognize the concerns that on which this whole war has started. Those are genuine concerns. So the three main concerns, as we have outlined on our press release, being, the NATO escalation, that was, the Minsk agreement.
Minsk agreement, 2014.
Yes, and the other one was the bioweapons laboratories, the neo-Nazi movement in where the ethnic cleansing has been happening since 2014. Actually, from before 2014 the ethnic Russians. So these are legitimate concerns, and they need to be recognized and brought to the front. Well, essentially,
it's definitely a humanitarian crisis, isn't it? I mean, we don't know, 10 to 15 million Ukrainians have already left their country, have gone to other countries to reside. So you see the destruction of a whole country because they can't come to some resolution. Well, anyhow, Dr. Bisht, we want to thank you and your organization in England for joining with us here in the United States. Again, the Legacy National Security Advisory Group is part of what we call the Patriots International Alliance. So thank you again for all that you do, and we look forward to bringing to some conclusion here a summit meeting, which will see and experience a ceasefire of the Ukraine-Russia conflict. So
Yes,
thank you very much.
Thank you, and Godspeed.
Godspeed.